You are listening to JaxBizCast, Jacksonville's business podcast. JaxBizCast, from Fernandina Beach down to St. Augustine. From Jacksonville Beach over to Hilliard. JaxBizCast, Jacksonville's business podcast. You are listening to JaxBizCast. I am Matthew Lloyd Collins, your host. Today in studio, we have Gary Spurgeon. Gary owns and operates Studio Podcast Suites in Jacksonville, Florida. Gary, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Matthew.
Tell us about Studio Podcast Suites.
Well, Studio Podcast Suites was a culmination of what's going on in this world today with podcasting. Podcasting is becoming a major force. The numbers are just showing it. 750,000 2 years ago, over 1 million podcasts produced per month. So I thought I'd come up with a concept that nobody else is really doing. And that was to create a studio designed for the average person to come in, instead of having to go invest in all the technology and all the equipment and all the processes. Because of my 41 years in broadcasting, I've put those skills in my tenure into the studio with high-level microphones, a high-level studio that people come in and they can have a professional podcast sound and look and feel to their podcast and their videocasts.
Outstanding, Gary. How can podcasting and videocasting help small business owners in the age of social media, marketing, and advertising?
Well, it's an extension of their brand awareness, both with a podcast and a videocast. With the way social media is today, by doing a 30-minute podcast or a videocast, you can take that information that you record and you can spill it out over your entire social media platform, whether it be Facebook, your Twitter account, your YouTube account, and your podcast. And being an audio podcast, you can be distributed on every major directory that's out there: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the big ones. So it's an extension of your brand. It actually gives you, as a business owner, more credibility. And people like to have experts in the field, and this will make you stand out as an expert.
Outstanding, Gary. Thank you so much, Gary. How can my listeners get in touch with you and Studio Podcast Suites?
There's a few ways. You can go to my website, which is studiopodcastsuites.com. You can call me at, which is, get a pencil ready, I tell people, 904-394-2594. Or you can go to my website, go to my contact page, and reach out to me that way as well. There's a contact form on there, and we can have a conversation.
Thank you for listening to JaxBizCast, Jacksonville's business podcast. JaxBizCast. Thank you for listening to JaxBizCast, Jacksonville's business podcast. JaxBizCast, from Fernandina Beach down to St. Augustine. From Jacksonville Beach over to Hilliard. JaxBizCast, Jacksonville's business podcast.